Welcome to another episode of Create Your Vibrant Life podcast. Today, I have a very special repeat guest, Marilu Rodriguez. And Marilu is very, very special to me for many, many reasons. One, she is my client, and I love sharing her success story. And the second piece is she's doing amazing work in the world. I'm sorry, Marilu, I'm talking about you in third person, like she, but you're doing amazing work in the world. And I think everyone needs a part of this. And so I wanted to bring you on board for you to share more about your work and what you're doing, and then also how it can be beneficial for any of the listeners. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Padma, it's so great to be here again, and I'm honored to be a repeat guest and to be able to speak to your listeners and share with them what I do in the world and how I create impact. And I'm a Master Hypnotist. I'm an international certified hypnosis instructor, and I teach people how to remove the blocks in their life, how to reprogram their minds to believe what they want to believe about themselves so that they can just live their best lives. And I have so much fun doing that. And I do it in many different ways, in many different formats. And so I'll wait for you to ask me questions before I dive in.
I love this because hypnosis or self-hypnosis is something I use every single day, at least 3 times a day, minimum, and if not more. And, before, for you, all you listeners, one of the things that Marilu and I were chatting right before we got in is how much we are programmed every single day without even realizing. You may not even call it hypnosis, but that is what is happening, isn't it, Marilu?
Oh, it's so true. It's so true in so many different ways. When you're so focused on what you're watching on the news, you don't realize that that's being programmed into your mind. You're so focused on what is being, what feeds and what articles are coming up on your socials that you're like totally zoned into. That also is hypnosis. You don't call it that, but you're constantly programming your mind by what you watch, by what you say to yourself, and by what you think. And that is how we program our minds every single day. And so I don't watch the news, and my feed on my Instagram has lots of French bulldogs. That tells you what I like on my feed. And it's stuff that makes me feel good, not stuff that makes me feel bad or worried or scared. So I always share with people that even though they don't realize it, the news is hypnotizing.
News, advertisement, everything is hypnotizing, right? And we don't even realize. And because I have young kids, I'm watching, and even though I'm so well-intentioned, the things that they pick up, and I'm like, wow, you're being programmed already. This is crazy. So let's take a step back, Marilu. Can you break down hypnosis for someone who's like, what is hypnosis? Just like really thinking, how can it be useful for a lay person who's just like in a corporate job, or who has, or who's a mom, like they don't have a practice like I do or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's so great. I know I kind of jumped right I forgot to tell people about how amazing hypnosis is. But hypnosis, I believe, is the most powerful self-development tool that we have out there, because we can actually change our brains. We can accelerate neuroplasticity with hypnosis. So what is hypnosis? Hypnosis is a state of focused awareness. And when you're in hypnosis, so that means that you're very focused. When you're in hypnosis, you feel very relaxed. So it's often described as relaxed and as a state of focus. And what that really means is that what we're doing in hypnosis is reprogramming your subconscious mind. What we're doing is we're creating new beliefs. We're creating new thoughts, new feelings, new decisions, because that's what happens when you start to listen to a hypnosis audio, or if you work with a hypnotist one-to-one. You learn how to how to basically train your brain for success. So that is, I call it brain training. I know that when I'm listening to hypnosis, I'm training my brain. And then when I'm living my day-to-day life, I'm in the marathon. Like I'm actually like, but I prepared by listening to this, to listening to my hypnosis audio. And did that explain it enough, Padma, for people?
Yeah, that totally does. So if you can share more about how you have used it to create success in your own
Yeah,
life, and maybe
yeah,
even like how
yeah.
anybody can use it.
Yes. So one of the biggest blocks that I had, and I'll just speak about myself, is that I was constantly telling myself who I couldn't be and what I couldn't do. And it was on repetition over and over and over again. It became automated. It became just how I thought. And it wasn't until I became aware. So the awareness piece of what am I really thinking in this moment? I started to become aware, and then I started to say to myself, okay, this is not what I want to believe. I want to believe that I can have focus while I'm at work. I want to believe that I can get along well with others. I want to believe that I'm a leader. And so I would start to tell myself during hypnosis. So I'd listen to my little hypnosis audio, and then sometimes there'd be long music. And then I'd be like, I started telling myself my new beliefs while I was in a state of relaxation. And really what we're doing in hypnosis is that we are relaxing our mind, we're relaxing our brain waves, and typically we're in a brainwave state called theta or alpha or theta brainwave state, and we're programmable, we're suggestible. And so I started telling myself in hypnosis what I wanted to believe about myself. And through repetition, through the being in the altered brainwave state, I began to actually believe it. And when you start to believe it, you start to think it, you start to feel it, you start to make different decisions. All of a sudden, you're showing up at work as that incredible leader who knows how incredibly empowered and powerful she is. And that's what begins to happen when you start using hypnosis daily.
Wow. So, like I want to pinpoint a few things that highlight a few things that you said, Marilu. Like one of the things is the background chatter in the brain of I'm not good enough. I'm not like I am. That's all programming, right? Like you're unconsciously programming. And so that awareness, and which so many people can relate, right? Like this is so unconscious that
Yeah.
we're not even aware of. Right. And then you're in repetition. And
Yes.
then now what you're saying is with hypnosis, you're going to create a new repetition. And that new repetition makes you almost like bypass these old belief patterns and
Yes.
create a new reality.
Yes, that's exactly right, Padma. We do bypass those old beliefs. They become those neural pathways less traveled. They become those dusty pathways that we no longer go on. And what we do is we focus on what we do want to believe. And it's natural and it's easy when you're doing hypnosis. And it's and that's one of the biggest things that people would say to me is, I can't believe how easy it can be. And it is. That's why it's such a powerful self-development tool. And when I'm working with clients, I teach them how to do self-hypnosis, which means that you can just do it on yourself a couple times a day. I was telling you earlier, I call that mental rehearsal, where I love to go outside and lay in my hammock and close my eyes and do some deep breathing and then visualize my life the way that I want it to be. What's the outcome that I want? It's so much fun. It's so easy to do because what you're doing is you're creating new neural pathways. It's like an athlete who is in training. There's all kinds of research, all kinds of studies that have been done where athletes, professional athletes, where they're actually on their day off and they are they have all I'm drawing a blank on the equipment that they put on their heads, and they have them visualizing that they're doing the same marathon or the same activity, and their heart rate and their minds, the way that it lights up, is as if they were doing it in real life. And it's fascinating. So it's like they're not doing it in real life, and yet their mind believes it to be true. So they're creating these pathways, they're strengthening these pathways that lead to our outcomes. And I just have the best time teaching people about this because I think it's so interesting.
Yes, it's also it's like the fast track to reprogramming your subconscious mind, which is where all the answers lie. You know, I often say this, like everything that we want or don't want is because of our belief system, whatever thoughts we have.
Right.
It's almost like a fast track. And
Yes.
and it's a
Yes.
fun fast track.
Yeah, it's so
Who doesn't
fun.
like imagining like the best
Yes.
possible life,
Oh
right?
my.
And I do this like 3 times a day for sure, like with my audio, but I also like visualize like just 10 seconds, 17 seconds in between, like whatever I'm doing. And I'm
Yes.
taking the kids somewhere, or I'm going to the
Yeah.
bathroom, whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
17 seconds of the kind
Yeah.
of life you
Yeah.
desire and how
Yeah.
it feels.
Yeah.
And
Oh, the best.
so quick, right? Like it's
Yes.
amazing to see
Yeah.
the shifts happen.
Yes. And for me, in the beginning, I worked quite a bit on confidence. I worked on trusting myself. And those were the two big ones that used to really muck me up, was that I did not trust myself. And so, and that's normal. I mean, a lot of people we're taught not to trust ourselves, and that's the programming. So now all of a sudden, as an entrepreneur, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I've got to lean into my intuition here. And my intuition is never wrong. And I really have learned how to have the confidence to trust my inner knowing. And it just comes with training our brain. And so I really feel like hypnosis is a brain training program. I wish it would be called something different, because a lot of times when I say the word hypnosis, people think of stage hypnosis. They think of mind control. They think I'm going to make you quack like a chicken. And I only do that, with my boyfriend, not with my clients. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's so much fun, right? Like to even like just practice that on an everyday, just having
Yes.
fun with it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. And it is mind training. It is,
it is. Yeah. It takes 67 days, according to neuroscience, for it to become unconscious, meaning that it just becomes how you think. So then all of a sudden you're unconsciously thinking thoughts that really empower you.
yeah.
And you're doing it over and over and over again. And so, yeah, it truly is the most powerful self-development tool out there, I believe. And the results that I've seen in people's lives, and now that I'm teaching hypnosis, so I have a online certification program. People join for various reasons. People join because they want to be an entrepreneur. People join because they want to be a better parent. People join because they want to learn how to train their brain so that they can feel unstoppable in the world. So there's a lot of different reasons, and I find it fascinating why people are joining, but it makes sense, because this is how you can, the way that I teach hypnosis in my program is from the perspective of brain training. It is science backed. And so when I'm teaching people how easy it is to figure out what their blocks are and to be able to move through them using hypnosis, it's a skill that they can use with their families, they can use with their kiddos, or their clients. And so it's so much fun to see the hypnotists that have graduated from the program. They're across the globe, they're all over the world, and it's so much fun to see how they're creating impact in the world. It's truly rewarding for me. I love
Yeah,
it.
and I can see like this is such a you're doing amazing service. I wanted to highlight a couple more things that you
Yeah,
said, like about confidence and trust. I
yeah,
think that is such a foundational piece for most people, and most people lack that. They don't
yes,
trust themselves. They don't feel like a lot of executives I work with, and on the outside they look like they're very successful, but the confidence, like it's like they have to put up this facade.
yes,
And with hypnosis, it's like you can really truly feel it and live it.
yes,
And I like what you said, so what I'm at least what I've seen your work, it's like when you are certified, when you do the program, something like this, rather than just going to see a hypnotist, it's almost like
yeah,
you're self-empowering yourself. And then you can create as many hypnosis audios for you or your family, like even if you don't have like a practice or like you're not working in the world as a hypnotist, like obviously it would be very great for someone to add this as an adjunct. I was just thinking like when as a therapist, right? Like in my past life, I was a therapist. This would have been such an incredible tool for me to have had.
Yes.
But this is a tool anybody can use, moms and parents. And like, even if you are in a corporate job, you can utilize this and create whatever you want.
Yes. It's so true. And I was just thinking about, not in the latest cohort, but the cohort before, about a mama who taught her little one about relaxation. Okay, now relax your hands. Now relax your arms. You know, she would come home, you know, her little one would come home so stressed about school. And so her mom taught her, which is in hypnosis, we call it an induction, where mom had her sit down and say, okay, now relax your toes. And so this little one learned how to relax her body. And that's a tool that her mom said she practiced at school. I mean, it's so incredible. Anxiety. So we teach lots of anti-anxiety tools. I mean, these tools are meant for adults, but children, you know, but we use that, but the parents have been using them with their little ones because, and I do this because this is a bilateral stimulation tool that's super easy, but kids are really, I mean, their brains are so malleable, and we know that, you know, they live in a different brainwave state, you know, from the ages of 0 to 7, where they're just, their brains are just, they can learn so easily. And so working with your kids is, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I can only imagine being able to change the trajectory of their lives. Like that makes me want to cry. That is impactful.
It's changing generational trauma of or belief systems. You know, I see it with my own kids. Even at like 5 and 8, they have all these beliefs that they have just, I don't know where they've picked it up from. And, you know, be like whatever they're absorbing from the environment, but like they're so suggestible. And then to have a tool like that to be able to utilize with your kids is just so valuable. So valuable. And especially like when it comes to simple things like anxiety, or I'm calling it simple, but it isn't, right? It's life altering if you're struggling with anxiety, or if you have confidence issues, or if you have separation anxiety with your parents. Like there's so many different places where you can utilize.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It is, there's even, you know, sleep talk. So even like, which means that you're talking to your child when they've just drifted off into sleep, and you're telling your child, you know, one parent, you know, that I know who shared sleep talk with me, and there is a podcast episode that I have on hypnosis and kids, but where she's talking to her little one saying, you're worthy, you're deserving, but she's saying it from first person. I am worthy, I am deserving. And this is what she's programming into her little one's mind. And yeah, I just think it's absolutely incredible.
You know, it's so funny you say that, because that's one of the things we do every night. Like before they go to bed, they have this whole, they just come, like we just talk about different affirmations. And so they will say these things. I love myself. I can be, do, have anything I desire, like all these affirmations, but that's programming, right? Like these small little things.
Yes.
It's really incredible. And it's amazing what they watch. I'm blown away when I watch my kids. Like, I'm like, where are you picking these things from? Watching. And so if you include, when you know these tools, what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say, Marilu, is like you can include it almost like day to day. Like it doesn't have to be like a sit down hypnosis. It's like you're utilizing these tools as you're living your day to day life.
It's powerful. One of my modules inside of HypnoThrive is about the words that we say. And so because we're always programming our minds, and I want to bring it back to little ones. So what are you suggesting to your little ones all day long? Like, are you suggesting to your kids that they're powerful, that they're strong, that they're capable? Or are you saying things like my mama used to say, what'd you forget now? And I'd be like, oh man, I had a story for a long time that I have a bad memory. I mean, and it's not like she was doing it on purpose, right? But she'd be like, what did you forget now, Mija? And I'd be like, oh, but I grew up with that. Now that could have easily been changed by, what did you remember? Right? Just a simple little shift like that. It would have been a different thing that I grew up with. But anyways, we're always programming our minds, meaning ourselves, and we're always programming those around us. And I just want to say, like, I'm dating this really amazing man. And every day I tell him how grateful I am that he's in my life and how much I appreciate him. And over the weekend, I said that to him, and I said, and he goes, you say that every day to me, Mary Lou. And I said, because that's what I want to program into your mind. I want you to know how lucky you are. No, I'm kidding. But because in my previous relationship, I was always telling my ex-husband the opposite. I was telling him, how unhappy I was. And that's what becomes like, that's the energy of our relationship. So I have learned so much, and I want my current partner to know that he's absolutely incredible. And even though sometimes he's not, but it's like, that is the feeling that I want the foundation of our relationship to be. So I know how powerful our words are, whether it's conscious or unconscious, what we're saying.
So true. You nailed it. Like that is it. That is like the more aware we are of our own thoughts and what words we speak. And it's so simple, like what you're saying. I'm thinking about kids because they're always on top of my mind, right now, especially like, oh my God, I'm like, can't wait for school to start. But see, even that, right? I'm thinking that, I'm sure they're feeling it, right? Like in these things, these small little things, like, oh, don't walk like that, you're going to fall. Right, we're not even thinking, like you're thinking, like, at least when I would say these things, like, I'm like thinking I'm being cautious with my kids, but I'm programming them. Be careful, you're going to fall. Don't do that, you're going to spill the milk, right? And what happens? They fall, they spill the milk. I'm like, okay, then maybe it would have happened anyways. The bottom line is, like, I don't want to contribute to programming it.
Yeah.
So being very mindful, and I love that you teach that in your program. Speaking of that, do you want to share a little bit about your program? What is it?
Yes. So my program is called HypnoThrive Certification Program, and it's 8 days over a 2-week period where you get access to pre-recorded modules. And these are the feedback that I've gotten from these modules is fantastic. They're very structured, they're very organized, they're full of information, and you get access to these brain training modules in advance, up to 2 weeks in advance before class starts. And then we meet for 8 days in the afternoons, Pacific Standard Time, for 4 hours, and we actually practice hypnosis. And when people graduate from my program, so I do have an upcoming cohort here, and I'll give the dates. But when people graduate from my program, they feel so confident. They feel skilled they understand basic hypnosis, they understand advanced hypnosis, they understand how to remove blocks, they understand how to create transformation, and they also understand and are learning how to create a 6-figure business for the people who want to actually have an online business, feeling fulfilled, serving the world, creating impact. So my next cohort is August 15th. So it's right around the corner. So I'll make sure to give you my link. Yeah. And it's such an honor to be able to teach people about the power of this tool. And it's becoming more legitimate. Like, there are more doctors, there are more scientists who are talking about the power of hypnosis. And I met with Dr. Andrew Huberman in May, and he told me that it was only a matter of time before hypnosis takes off in the same way that Wim Hof breathing has taken off. So it's an incredible tool.
Yeah. And Dr. Andrew Huberman, for our listeners, is a neuroscientist.
He's a neuroscientist. Yeah. Oh, he's not a practicing hypnotist, but he believes in hypnosis. He's a recipient of hypnosis. So his mentor, Dr. David Spiegel from Stanford, is Dr. Andrew Huberman's mentor. And so when I met Dr. Huberman, he told me I could call him Andrew, but when I met him, he's like, I love hypnosis so much, and it's great that I'm not a hypnotist, or, he's like, because I can promote it so freely because I believe in it so much.
Yeah. Amazing, right? Amazing. I mean, this is such, and the most amazing piece is the non-intrusive tool.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's non-pharmacological. Yeah. Yes.
That's the best. I used it when I had my home births with my kids without medication. Like, I mean, you can utilize this like in so many areas in your life. Like, it is amazing, amazing. Yeah. So there's so many areas in your life where you can utilize hypnosis.
It's so true. Even if you wanted to. So a lot of clients that I work with and have worked with in the past come to see me because of like anxiety, or they live in fear and doubt. And even using hypnosis to habituate a different feeling into your body, like peace, like confidence, like feeling empowered. Hypnosis is also doing that. Not only are you rewiring your mind, but you're rewiring your body to feel differently. And that is freedom. And so
mind and body are all connected. This is why stress, when you think stressful thoughts, your body gets into stress and then gets into disease, right? And so they're all so intricately connected.
Yes.
I hear you. It is a very easy way to work with all parts of whatever we're going through, like whether it's emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, like you can utilize this for anything. And what I love is that, when you go through the Hypnothrive Your program, which I haven't been through it, but I've had my clients go through your program, and they all like rave about it. And it gives you so many different things. One is self-empowerment, like you can utilize it on yourself, and you can also maybe create a practice if you want as a hypnotist. It's getting very popular.
It is. It really is. And it's true, like self-empowerment, and like that is when you feel empowered in the world, like you feel truly unstoppable, regardless of your circumstances, because that's one of the modules that I talk about in my Hypnothrive program is our circumstances, and how we allow our circumstances or our environment dictate how we feel. And that's the feeling that we're going around living our lives in all day long, whatever that feeling is. And so I teach you how to feel empowered regardless of what's happening in your external world. And that is power. That is freedom.
That's amazing. And we'll put it in the show notes as well, how to enroll the program. And yeah. So can you share a little bit about where people can find you?
Yes. So MaryLouRodriguez.com. And there's information on the Hypnothrive certification program. And there's also information on my podcast. And people can find me on Instagram at Mary Lou Hypnotizes You. And I would love for you to follow me, and let's play and have conversations.
I'll put everything in the show notes as well. What's the name of your podcast?
It's called the Unstoppable Mind podcast. And it's all about having an unstoppable mind and an unstoppable life.
That's what it is. And you are living an unstoppable life. I am so excited for you.
Thank you, Padma. I'm truly blessed. I feel I just am in love with the life that I've created. And you've been a big part of that. I've been working with you now for a year, almost a year. And my life has truly transformed. And there were so many blind spots that I couldn't see. I wanted to see. And you've truly helped me to let go of, and to just truly fully trust, and to have fun. Have fun while I'm creating this amazing life. Because sometimes you can forget about, no, not you. Sometimes Mary Lou can forget about fun. when I'm serving, and it's not separate. So I want to thank you just for how incredible this last year has been for me, and the changes that have happened in my life and then in my business as a result. I'm truly grateful to you.
Oh, thank you, Marilu. Thank you. And like I always say, you did the work.
You say that.
You did the work. You did the hard work. You did the heavy lifting. It just pointed some directions to you, and you did all the work. But I received. I'm very grateful. This is a very special time with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners?
I think we've had some fun here today. I really just want to say thank you again for having me. And it really is, it's fun, it's exciting, and I love talking about hypnosis. So anytime I can talk about hypnosis, I'm there. So thank you so much.
I do want to also, again, highlight that you've come such a long way, right? Like when you started, you were a hypnotist. And then from there, you had this brainchild of like opening this up to teaching other people to be self-empowered. And so like the work you've done to really just grow and expand coming from a place of true service, that is just incredible. I want to say I'm so proud of you for all that work, all the work you're doing in the world, all the impact you're creating. So many lives are changed, and then they are helping other people. They're helping their families. They're helping. It's just like this domino effect, right? Like of like the light that is being spread. So I wanted to just acknowledge that about you too.
Thank you, Padma.
Thank you. And everything will be in the show notes, marilourodriguez.com, right? And then Mary Lou Hypnotizes You on Instagram, and Unstoppable Mind podcast.
Yes.
Reiterating that to all the audience. And so they can follow you and really get to know you.
I'm excited. I'm excited. When you follow me, say hello, say Padma sent you, and I'll make sure to give Padma lots of extra love.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Mary Lou, for taking the time to be here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.